I'm going to make our team have success.
Holding it, gets off the hit, now lunging forward.
We have that mindset. The big plays come.
Touchdown!
Don't ever lose. There's no question I'm the king.
Mahomes, magic! Patrick Mahomes is incredible!
After yet another stellar performance, Patrick Mahomes has the shortest odds to take home the Pro Football MVP, followed by Tua, who now has the second best odds, will look to continue on his strong season. And staying with the MVP convo, Cowboys star linebacker Micah Parsons sounded off on Twitter on the debate of who should win MVP. Why is this a quarterback-based award? So, Mad Dog, I'll start with you. Is the NFL MVP solely a quarterback award at this point?
It should be, right? I mean, without the quarterback, you're not winning. I mean, and it's the same thing with the Heisman Trophy. 99% of the time, the Heisman Trophy winner is a quarterback. And the same thing should go for the NFL. And listen, how many teams in the history of the NFL have won a Super Bowl with an below-average quarterback? I mean, maybe Dilfer with the Ravens, Brad Johnson with Tampa. But for the most part, and of course McMahon, who was not below average, for the most part, you need a good quarterback. And, to beat out Mahomes, how is anybody going to beat out Mahomes? He's the best player in the league. He's the most important player in the league at the most important position, and he's the best at it. So how in the world could he not be the MVP? And I love Parsons. He's fun to watch, great defensive player. And LT in '86 won the MVP.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for the most part, you're going to give it to the quarterback year in and year out. I remember in '86, the Giant quarterback was Sims.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a hell of a player, but that was a defensive-oriented and a running-oriented team. So from that standpoint, listen, I understand his point. It's not fair. Look at me, all these sacks. Look at these defensive players. If you don't have the quarterback in the NFL, Stevie A, you are not winning. And he's the best QB, and they're 8-2.
Let me say this to you. I'm going to respectfully disagree in certain respects. I understand what you're saying for the most part. It's a quarterback award. I get all of that. I'm not disagreeing with that. That's very, very obvious for the reasons that you mentioned in terms of the importance of the quarterback position. But that doesn't mean that it always should be. Like, for example, when you think about Micah Parsons, and he's got 10 sacks in 10 games, and you think about the impact that he's had on Dallas defense, then you take into account how they looked without Dak Prescott when Cooper Rush was your quarterback. Even though he didn't make mistakes and he deserved a lot of credit for what he did, the fact of the matter is Dallas's defense carried and propelled them to victories against everybody but the Philadelphia Eagles, and they came back in the second half and almost won that game. So we got to take that into consideration, okay? Then we have to think about this. So Micah Parsons makes a valid point. You know who else could make a valid point? Tyreek Hill. Look at Miami before Tyreek Hill arrived. Look at them now.
That's a good point.
Look at, I know we see what we're seeing from Patrick Mahomes, which just cements his greatness because of what he's doing without Tyreek Hill. But Tyreek Hill made a lot of noise. I called him blasphemous because he talked about Tua Tagovailoa and how this dude is accurate, just as accurate as Patrick Mahomes, and he can do X, Y, and Z. And we were like, this man done lost his damn mind. He got to be crazy because we ain't see that from Tua. Tyreek Hill gets there all of a sudden. We talking about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle the way people used to talk about Mark Superduper and Mark Clayton in the 80s when Dan Marino was throwing them the football, except this is a better version. We're looking at Tua Tagovailoa, and all we can say about him is that this brother is undefeated, and Miami is undefeated in every game he has started and finished. They've beaten everybody in their path, including Buffalo, including the New York Jets. Okay? So what I'm saying to you is when you look at it from that perspective, all I'm trying to say is that a Tyreek Hill, a Micah Parsons can make a legitimate argument that this is one of those years where it shouldn't necessarily be a quarterback award because they're making a case for their impact being every bit as dramatic as the quarterback spot.
Now, when Tua was out, Tyreek Hill's Dolphins went 0-3. Mm-hmm. He did not win a game without his quarterback. Yeah. Wouldn't that add to the importance of the quarterback?
Well, you could say that, but one game, and they lost to Minnesota. The man had 12 receptions for 177 yards with Teddy Bridgewater throwing him the football. So I'm looking at it from that perspective, too. And I'm saying to you, what this brother brings to the table has had a profound impact on Miami's Dolphins, which has affected their defense as well, because their defense can go out there and be a little bit more reckless, not necessarily as cautious, because they're confident that whatever mistakes they make could be made up for by the offense, which is the antithesis of the New York Jets, because you got Sauce Gardner and others that got to play as much. They got to extend themselves and pray
they gotta
that
win
they're
the game.
able to make something happen, because they don't have the confidence that the offense led by Zach Wilson is going to generate anything productive for you.
Right. It's interesting. It's a good debate.
Absolutely.
But he likes Tua as the MVP. He mentioned that the other day. That's a good call.
No, I'm not saying no. Listen, Patrick Mahomes would be my number one guy. I'm simply saying that Micah Parsons and Tyreek Hill deserve strong consideration for that award based on what has transpired this year.
Coming up, speaking of MVP picks, is Kirk Cousins
By the way, Miami lost to the
still
Jets.
trustworthy in Minnesota after going
Back the same way.
I mean, down the stretch, if you're forcing me to choose between the Bengals and the Titans, I'm going to take the Bengals because I trust Joe Burrow to get the job done when it matters the most. Yeah. And ever since he came out when they were 0-2 and said, hey, everybody, just relax for a little bit. It reminded you a little bit of Aaron Rodgers when he did it back in the day, right? Then
but more likable.
On that magical run.
Yeah.
They won 6 of 8 games since then. Like, low-key, Joe Burrow's putting up a terrific season. He's second in yards. He's third in touchdowns with a completion percentage of just under 70%, 69.1, man. So,
and he's been playing without Jamar Chase, makes a big difference.
And Mixon when he comes back off the concussion. Yep. Jamar Chase coming back to practice this week. Granted, they have the hardest remaining schedule, low-key. But in a shootout, I don't want to see those dudes.
Nah, man.
I don't want to see those dudes.
No, you think about the Vikings, but now make Kirk Cousins Joe Burrow, right? Like, they have Justin Jefferson. He has Jamar Chase. And he's got Higgins. And he's got Boyd. And he's got Mixon. They got that good tight end, too. What's his name? The tight end's name is escaping, but he can play.
That came over from Detroit, right? Drawing a blank. But, yeah, they have the whole complete team.
It's Keyshawn J. Willimax coming to you live from the Seaport, brought to you by Patron. Perfection starts with Patron. And now, guys, 10 after the hour, it's time for the winning word.
DJ and Max, 10K giveaway.
Who wants this 2,500? We're giving away 10 G's a day every hour, $2,500. When you hear the winning word, text it to 777-000. Text the word I'm about to say to 777-000. You're entered for your chance to win. We're going to do it every weekday from now until the end of the show, December 7th. No purchase necessary. Ends December 7th, 2022. See complete official rules at espnradio.com/contest. And the winning word of the hour. What was it last hour, guys? What was it last hour? It was Brick, B-R-I-C-K, in honor of Ben Simmons' time in Philly last night. And this word, this hour, the winning word is turkey. 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 Text turkey to 777 to traditional turkey. Because all different kinds of preparations of turkeys are available to us. You would never use the first overall pick on a traditional turkey because you could just
out of your mind, Max?
Never.
No. A traditional turkey is basically the Trevor Lawrence of first-round picks.
Right, and how that's turned out so far.
Safe.
We're not. No one's going to get mad at us.
No, but you guys are misunderstanding the strategy of a draft. If there's surplus at a position, you don't draft. It's like a running back. You don't draft.
No, it's not surplus at a position.
There is.
To be fair, we didn't know everyone was going to draft.
I can't explain. Okay, I don't have time to explain this to the
Trevor Lawrence, which was nice and safe.
No,
Jay
terrible.
took more of a, deep fried Cam Newton sort of deal.
They took.
And I took more of a Patrick Mahomes, very smoky. It has a lot of flavor to him. You, on the other hand,
we have
took some damn gravy.
Okay, so Jay took deep fried turkey. That should have been the number one pick. Key took smoked turkey. Now, since there are a million different turkeys available, I took gravy and stuffing. Now, no one can have gravy or stuffing at Thanksgiving, only me. Except that Key then cheated and took Cajun-style cornbread stuffing, which is a kind of stuffing.
Put a slight twist on it.
But okay, had I known you could do that, I would have taken mac and cheese.
It ain't my fault. Your scouting department didn't recognize.
That's true. You're right.
There's other stuffings in the world.
Yep.
Key,
That's right.
that
Key,
is
I can't argue that.
That's a hustler's technique
They got
right there.
no.
Key.
Key got a better analytics department than me. Jay then took collard greens. Jay's killing the game. Fried turkey and collard greens.
We're over here trying to create a
and the
dynasty.
staff took mac and cheese, which is I can't believe was available with the 8th pick.
Southern style mac and cheese at that.
Oh, Southern style.
Throw it a little sprinkle on the
you
top.
guys didn't. Nope. You didn't specify that.
Key asked if it was Chrissy Teigen's.
Nope.
We have to specify. We have to specify.
No,
I looked it up, by the way. I looked up Chrissy Teigen's
Anybody got
mac
Paula
and cheese.
Patton's fried chicken?
Doesn't look like
Anybody's
that.
gonna try
No way.
All right,
Jose.
let's
on.
move along.
Meantime,
before
we're
we get
asking
in-
back the same way.
I mean, down the stretch, if you're forcing me to choose between the Bengals and the Titans, I'm going to take the Bengals because I trust Joe Burrow to get the job done when it matters the most. Yep. And ever since he came out when they were 0-2 and said, hey, everybody, just relax for a little bit. It reminded you a little bit of Aaron Rodgers when he did it back in the day, right? Then
But
they
more
went
likable.
on that magical run.
Yeah.
They won 6 of 8 games since then. Like, low-key, Joe Burrow's putting up a terrific season. He's second in yards. He's third in touchdowns with a completion percentage of just under 70%, 69.1, man.